Open your fridge right now and you'll find leftover juice and maybe an apple that came from a country you couldn't even point to on a map. Imagine your ancestor who lived 3 million years ago seeing this fridge. He wouldn't even register that this is food. So, what did he eat? The answer is something a lot of people have never heard. 3 million years ago, your ancestors weren't hunters. They ate what other animals had already killed. A lion hunts a gazelle. Hyenas come after and crush whatever they can get to. And by the time it's your ancestors' turn, the carcass is nearly picked clean. Except for one thing, the thick bones, especially the leg bones. The hyenas couldn't crack those open. That's where your ancestors came in. They'd grab a rock, smash the bone, split it open, and inside was a heavy white marrow. They ate it raw, with their bare hands, from a carcass they hadn't even hunted themselves. And this wasn't an emergency meal. It was the meal of choice. Brain was another favorite. A single skull held nearly half a kilo of pure fat. For them, that was literally treasure. And let's not forget the insects: white worms, larvae the size of your finger, cockroaches. Not because there was nothing else. This was their dinner for 1 million years, generation after generation, living this way. So, let me ask you, why does your body still crave fat? Why does fatty food always taste better to you? That's not a random preference that appeared out of nowhere. It's an ancient program, millions of years old, and it's still running inside you right now as you watch this video. Then came the thing that changed everything: fire. The oldest fire known to humankind was found in a cave called Wonderwork in South Africa, dated to roughly 1 million years ago. When your ancestors discovered fire, cooking began. And cooking means digestion starts before you even eat. Let me be clear. Raw food used to exhaust your body, hours of chewing and digesting just to extract energy from it. But cooked food arrives to the body almost pre-processed, so the energy the body used to spend on digestion went somewhere else: the brain. Think about it. Your brain uses about 20% of your body's energy, while making up only about 2% of your body weight. No need to waste that on raw insects and leaves. Cooking gave your ancestors a brain capable of thinking and creating, and that brain gave them everything that came after: tools, language, stories, and an entirely different kind of life. About 300,000 years ago, your ancestors started looking a lot like you. One of the biggest developments was the ability to hunt. They began hunting and eating anything they could catch: mammoths, wild horses, fish, roots, grains, eggs, honey. There's a tribe in Tanzania called the Hadza who, to this day, live in a way remarkably close to our ancestors before. Agriculture. About 15% of their diet is honey, and oddly enough, they climb dangerous trees, get stung dozens of times, and still go back for more. Why? Simply because nothing else delivers that much energy in a single bite. So let me ask you, friend, why do you love sweets? And why is it so hard to give them up or even resist them? Because sugar was essential for survival. It gave your ancestors two advantages at once: instant energy and fat the body could store in case there was no food tomorrow. And your body still, to this day, can't tell the difference between honey on a tree and a donut in a box. Companies figured out this game long before you did, and now they engineer sugar into food in every shape and form. Almost everything you eat has sugar hidden in it one way or another, and your body believes it every single time, treating it as real energy and rewarding you for it, simply because it never learned to be suspicious. It doesn't know you might be tricking it with a donut instead of a natural source. But honestly, there's something even deeper and stranger than this. In a cave in England called Gough's Cave, researchers found human bones roughly 14,000 years old. The skulls had been cleaned in a strange way, the face and the base of the skull removed, leaving what looked shaped like a cup. The long bones were broken the exact same way animal bones were broken, to get at the marrow. And what makes it even stranger? There was no famine during this period. Why do we know that? Because in the same location, they found horse and deer bones too, meaning food was available. So wait, if there was food, why the human bones? A genuinely shocking question. Let's look at what the research says. A 2017 study found that a human body provides roughly 125,000 calories, while a single American bison provides around 600,000, and a mammoth can reach up to 3 million calories. In other words, humans simply weren't an efficient source of food. So, if it wasn't about survival, what was the reason? Were they eating each other? Maybe. But was it purely about food? Here's the real question. They found a hand bone there engraved with a zigzag pattern, carved after the flesh had been removed. This opens up another possibility, that this wasn't just about eating. It may have been ritual, because it's hard to convince yourself people would do this while they had other food sources available. And this isn't an isolated case. The same pattern repeats across many places: Germany, France, Spain, Croatia, different sites, different eras, but the same behavior for hundreds of thousands of years. Humans were doing this to each other, not always for survival. And even stranger, your ancestors didn't always eat meat fresh. If they hunted a large animal, they couldn't finish it all. So they'd hide it, bury it, or store it in a cave or somewhere. Cold and come back to it later after it had changed. Worms in it, a strong smell, a different color, and they'd eat it anyway. Some researchers believe they may have actually preferred it that way. Why? Because once meat starts breaking down, it becomes easier to chew and digest, and the bacteria in it produce B vitamins the body needs. And your body still remembers this today. Every fermented food you love now, yogurt, cultured milk, sourdough bread, pickles, is essentially slow, controlled decay. Your taste for these things wasn't built overnight. It was shaped 100,000 years ago on things far harsher than this. Now, let's imagine taking a person from today and dropping them 5,500 years into the past. What happens? They'd probably die, right? They wouldn't know where to find water, couldn't tell edible plants apart, couldn't hunt, and food would be all around them, but invisible to their eyes. Now let's flip it. What if we took a person from 5,500 years ago and put them in your kitchen? They'd feel like they'd stepped into a strange, almost magical world. A cold, sweet drink in a can, ready-made bread, milk that stays fresh for days, fruits of every kind from countries they've never even heard of, food that requires no chasing and no risk to obtain. For 3 million years, every single human alive suffered from hunger, exhaustion, and cold. Every meal was a battle, a real, literal battle. And you, the modern human, have everything available with zero effort and no fear of predators. You wake up at 2 a.m., open the fridge, and find every delicious thing from every kind of food and drink imaginable. It's a favor, not an obligation. Please support me by subscribing and hitting like to help keep this content going. Also, this is my very first video with you all. Thank you. Thank you.